All right, we're on to our last division lesson of this week, and that is how we work with decimal divisors. And as I told you straight from the beginning when we were using division with decimals, we hate decimal divisors. We don't allow them into room 13. And so we're going to start off looking at it, and we're going to write it how we normally would. 138, 0, and 3/100. Now, we don't like decimal divisors. We don't welcome them into the class. And so what we need to do is we need to get rid of it. And luckily, we know how to move our decimal points. Now, I know if I multiply this by 10, the decimal point will move one time over. And now, instead of 0 and 3/100, I have 0 and 3/10. I'm going to use the black pen because the green is not showing up all too well. But that's still a decimal divisor, so I'm going to multiply it by another 10. And now I have 3. And I multiplied by the 10 and then multiplied by another 10, so I multiplied it by 100. And the important thing here is, if I did it to my divisor, I need to do it to my dividend as well. My decimal point begins here, but I need to multiply it once by 10 and again by 10. So it's going to move here, 0, and here, 0, and that's where it's going to end up. I'm going to erase those ones. So I'm now looking for something different. Instead of 138 divided by 3/100, I'm looking at 13,800 divided by 3. I no longer have a decimal in my divisor. I have just 3. And now, this is the work we know how to do. I can say does 3 go into 1? It doesn't. That spot's off limits. Does 3 go into 13? It does. It fits in 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract. 13 minus 12 is 1. 3 can't fit into 1, so I'm going to bring down my 8. Can 3 fit into 18? Yes. How many times does it fit? It fits 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. And I subtract, and I have 0. And I say, can 3 fit into 0? No. So I'm going to bring down my 0. Does 3 fit into 0? No. Before I can bring this 0 down, I need to put a 0. And I say, let's bring this 0 down. Can 3 fit into 0? It still can't. And I know that I have to have the same decimal point in my quotient. So I need a 0 here as well. And so my answer, my quotient, is 4,600. We don't like decimal divisors, but all we need to do is multiply them and the dividend by 10 enough times to change the decimal divisors into whole numbers. And we're fine with whole numbers. We like them in our class. That's all you need to do to be able to divide using a decimal divisor.